Hey, CYNT. Hi, Joe Glover. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Birdie. Hi, Sakura. Hi, Mindy. Hi, Anna. If anybody wants to call in and talk about the verdict, just let me know and send me an email. I'll send you the number. Hi, Tracy B. Hi, Doris Cabin. Hi, Evie. Hi, L. Jackson. Hi, Mystery Truth Seeker. Hi, Anna. Did I get Mandy? I think so, right? Tracy B. Nanette. Hi, Brenda. Sybil. Wow Life. Earthbound Spirit. Evie. Hey, J Bells. So I didn't get to what a precedent. Hi, Tony. Hi, Two Scooter. I didn't get to see what you guys said at the last one yet because I just came in and I fed Zoe and stuff. Hi, Sea Glass. So, Monica. Hi, Cheryl. Shoot, I made it to alive. I couldn't sleep over the verdict. Hey there, Cheryl. From Salem, Massachusetts. Cheryl. Hi, Sharon. How's Zoe? Zoe's okay. I mean, I came home. She was sleeping, but I fed her. I didn't give her the second dose of vitamins. I just didn't want her stomach to get sick. I'll give her in the morning. Hi, Deb on the Move. Does the judge... I think it's the judge, right? I think so. But he probably won't give her anything. It's going to be 11 o'clock tomorrow. Going up the stairs, yeah. Taking it one day at a time. Hey, Lexi. Hi, Veronica. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Pencella. Hi, Janelle. So, does anybody want to call in and discuss the verdict? Did anybody want to call in? She won't serve any time. Were you surprised that she went in tonight? I'm surprised that Salem, Mass. You always miss my lives? Okay. Well, good to have you. Hi, Sonia. You zoomed in on her face because you kept seeing people say she had no tears. You couldn't see any tears either? No SOP? What'd you say? Are you talking about the sentencing? Sentence. Oh, Sunny Bunny. Sunny Bunny's here? Did somebody just say Sunny Bunny? Who said Sunny Bunny? Oh, Sunny Bunny, I asked about you the other night. Yeah, I hope things are going okay. Praying for your nephew. You saw her crying when her brother was on the stand? She's probably crying for herself. You know what I mean? Where were the tears for her daughter? To take her at standard. Okay. Yeah, I figured. Well, then, then why was there like some shock though? Did you see like some shock, Sakura? She seemed shocked, and her mother seemed a little bit shocked. You saw her cry with. Okay, I didn't. But again, that would be for her. Like he's talking about her and him, and she's thinking about her life that she's missing, that she might not have. But I don't know. I didn't see anything for her daughter. Hi, Molly Low Liz. Long time no see, Molly Low Liz. Hi, Maui Chickadee. Hi, Two Scooter. Hi, Tom Rose. First time here, Tom? And I think, were you here the other night? I'm trying to remember. Monica, Denise, hello. You Go Girl. J.S. Who else did I miss? Lacey. Nana Jules. Who else snuck in? You've missed me? We've missed you. Where have you been? Hey, Pallets. Hey, Mary Beth. Did anybody want to call in and discuss? How much for what book? What book, Tom? Hello, Kathy. Hi, Judy. You glad I'm home safe? Is Tom the eBay seller? Tom? No. You're thinking of, yeah, he hasn't gotten back to me, that guy. Maybe he thinks I'm not for real or something. I don't know. That's David. I've got to go in there and tell him. I've got to go in during a live and tell him I'm for real. Hi, Allie. Cattails, long time no see. I want to see where GB is. And where's April F? Zoe's doing good. I mean, taking it one day at a time. She's a little stronger each day, so that's good. That's good. We'll take it every day, one day at a time. Thankful for every day with her. So let's see. She had no feelings for her baby. Sad, right? Thanks, Birdie. You were getting a bit worried. A little, yeah, maybe I was probably taking notes like a mad woman and didn't see her. But her mother seemed like shocked when she seemed shocked when they got the cuffs out and they were taking her in. You can tell me if it's true that Skylar's mom Can you tell me if it's true that Skylar's mom, the father is the one that I heard wanted to do, wanted the remains back. What? Sharon Martin's calling in. Martin's calling in. You're a little behind. You had a shite day yesterday. Why? What happened? Want to call in while we chickadee? Well, next time you see GB, Lisa, will you tell GB that I'm asking for GB? No, you're not calling him. Why not, Sharon? You will call in? Oh, you will. You will tell GB. Okay. Father just had felt left out. Said the mother and the boyfriend were the people she cared about the most. I know. That must at least said it over and over and over again, right? Molly, here's the thing on the verdict, right? Last night I said I didn't think she would get convicted on either of the murder charges. But I had thought that endangering the welfare of a child, she would be found guilty of, and the gross abuse of the corpse. I didn't realize until the judge gave instructions that she could not be found guilty of endangering the life of a child for any reasons like not going back to the doctor after they told her, not telling anyone about the birth, not anything like that. But it would be for something like not summoning 911, blah, blah, blah. But then they would have to, in order to find her guilty of that, they had to find it in, like, they had to believe that there was a live birth beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's where they came into the problem. And that was all because of her own doing, because there was no body to examine. And that's the thing. A lot of people feeling like she got away with murder because of what she did, that made there no body, to examine, to know what she did. So basically, there's probably going to be copycats of this. I mean, it doesn't make sense that she was ever planning on that baby, letting that baby live. And I feel they only touched on it at the end. They never touched on it in the trial. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Apparently so, Tessa. It did, Dar's cabin. I can't believe how quickly that baby just decomposed like that. Dom Cisco, who has a headache. Hi, Scarlet Rain. Hi, Mommy for the win. It's a free pass for any girl to think she could get away with murder. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, well, I don't know. May you say something stupid. Oh, Jeanette, I got a package from you today. I didn't get to open it yet, so I'll open it in Happy Mail tomorrow, but I did get a package. Thank you in advance. Your phone is sitting on its charger. You had hard to use unless you go out to the car. That's where the cord is for pulling and charging. Thank you for telling this. Oh, okay, so what did you say? You said, may I say something stupid? That guy Google photographer on the stand? That guy Google... Oh, yeah. I saw it again. Her room is now pink instead of that green, more girly room. Oh, you mean with those 360 photos? Not a message. Nope. Big mistake on the verdict. Don't you think she had help with the cleanup? Bury the baby for... Her mother was so... Did you see... I wrote notes while that was going on. And I mean, not that it's even important anymore because we know what happened. But I mean, I think that... I'm just going back in my notes here. Oh, okay. Wow. I had a lot of notes. I didn't think I went back that far. So she unwanted, right? That's how that Ms. Kraft began. No, you haven't had a headache. Okay. You figure you could drink coffee and stay up till 45. Oh, Joe Danzer, yeah. It's so different from her room. So, I don't know. Have you gone to those Ritgers, their website? Have you seen Charles Sr.'s wife? I thought it was his sister. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was his sister. They look alike. They both have the same color hair. I said that's got to be his sister because I went into their bios and it didn't even say anything about like her husband, like, you know, she's in practice with her husband, or didn't say anything on his about the wife. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, that must be his sister because it looks just like him. And then I went on their Facebook page and I saw the pictures of like him and her at some event. And hey Max, I saw the pictures of where they said like 3 babies were born in the firm all within a month of each other, and Charlie Jr., Sonny Boy Defense, was one of them. I don't know who the other sibling is, but I don't see them in the law firm unless it was a daughter and she's not using the name. I don't know. Yeah, I call him Sonny Boy Defense and Daddy Defense. Please show. Okay, I'll show you the photos, but remind me in a second. Let me do. So she says unwanted, right? And it would forever alter her perfect life. It would forever alter her relationship with her mother and Brandon. She made a choice to kill her newborn baby. She buried and concealed it. She chose her perfect life over her daughter. And I thought it was pretty good, okay? Considering I didn't think they had something really powerful. And of course, when she delivered a baby, she started to cry. She hugged her up tight. Well, what I say, I think, Wilo Wick, is that she scooped that baby up in the towel, covered it completely, and then just held it like that until it stopped moving. That's what I think she did. And I don't think she buried the baby that night either. I don't think she did. If the baby was buried that night, then it wasn't with her, from her. I think that baby was placed in the bag with the bloody towels. Oh no, Victoria, you've been in the hospital? What happened? We've missed you around here. What happened? What happened, Priscilla? Hi, Prim Proper. Everything's going on. Every time I start to read. Hi, Carol. I'm trying to catch up. Priscilla? Yeah, we are going to have a party. I'm almost there. You're right. Hi, Amy. He's 38. What happened? I've got to tell people to slow down a second. What happened, Ma? Wait, Chickadee? Who's 38? Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that, Priscilla. So what, I'm trying to see now what happened. First he took one in a long time. Can't believe he didn't take his meds. What, who didn't take, what, hold on. He took one but was in his room. He just knows how he feels. What happened, Ma? Wait, I have to go back even more. Your oldest son took 2 fits and was in the hospital? What do you mean by fits? He was, do you mean seizures or do you mean, I'm trying to catch up. Oh, epilepsy, is that what he has? Oh my gosh, I have so much to catch up on. See, I'm not calling in. Sharon Martin is. Your opinion's unpopular, but you think justice was served? As in they couldn't prove it. No, you're right. They couldn't prove it, Amy. You're right. That you are right. Hello, Joanne. Hi, VA girl. What are you sorry about, Dom? What happened, Dom? I think everybody's just chattering like crazy, Janelle. It's not that we have that many people in here. It's just a lot of chatters going on. And a lot of things are happening. That's why you've not been doing good. Thank you to everyone. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, he has epilepsy. Okay, so it's under control now. He's taking his medication. Why did he stop? You said weirdo about what, Dom? How come he stopped? Does it give him unpleasant side effects? Like, why did he do it? Does he know now not to do it? Over there, you're sending a package of... Oh, are you? Oh, thank you. That's fine. You can email me. Wait. Dom, you're not saying what I think you are. No. Who's a weirdo, Dom? Hi, Brenda. Yeah, it's not activated because it was getting too much. I find it hard to believe that this girl went into labor with no epi and no. Yeah, I have no idea why he didn't take the meds. He forgot to put in the prescription, but there's no need. We get meds free. It was bad ones. Oh, wow. Well, Kelly, it's not that I didn't think she was going to be found guilty of murder. I didn't think that. I thought she would get endangering a child until I found out what the judge said. When I heard the judge say that, I knew she was just going to end up with the gross abuse of a corpse. But her actions did prevent, like, forevermore, no matter what, Kelly, right? They're going to be people that say she killed her baby and got away with it because of what she did. If she had only called 911 or called someone, right, and not buried that baby, if she truly was stillborn, correct, she would not be in this position, right? Because it's not a crime to do what she did, hide your pregnancy and give birth in your room. The crime came after that. So if she had just called 911, called somebody, but now people will never know, and the perfect life is going to be ruined because there will be many people that will never drop that she killed her baby. And it's all her doing. Glad they found what, Hennessy? What'd they find, Hennessy? Oh, your scoping thing? They found something? What'd they find? You think it's a very troubled aunt who needs a great deal of help. If she had only... I get it, but this girl is not well. I'm not saying she shouldn't have called for help, but... What if the baby was born dead? And we're saying, but VA girl, if the baby was born dead, why still didn't she call someone? What happened to oh, that's what I was trying to find out. Hennessy, what did you say? What did they take out of you, Hennessy? What did they find? Hi, Debbie, see, Survivor, hi. Oh my gosh, Victoria Jones. I saw that too in the 8th grade science lab. And I didn't even know. Look, I said that cannot be what I think it is, right? Because you could see the blue eyes and you saw these little embryos in these little tiny jars. And I asked my science teacher, this was back in the 80s, and she's like, oh, it was like this big, I would say, storage room between two classrooms. And she said they came from a former student. Listen to this one. They came from a former student's father who was a doctor that I guess he performed abortions or what, and sent these into the class. And I remember because I was like a science tech, and we were like cleaning up this, but I still couldn't get in my head because I was 13 years old, that, oh my gosh, how that, it was this big. And I said, well, how could you see the eyes? Or like you could see the blue eyes, and it was perfectly formed, and it was in a little tiny little jar, two of them, at least two of them. And I was just like, I couldn't even believe it. And they're just sitting on the shelf in a science lab like that of an elementary school. Did you too, Lisa? Were you in the same school I was? That's weird, Lisa. That's really weird, because that's really, really weird. Because they were like in the back, like store, like she never brought them out. Nobody ever brought them out to the class. The only reason I saw them is because I was a science tech. And I guess one day we were arranging something in there, and I was like, what are those things there? That's so weird that you, but it's so weird that you would have them too, because I didn't think that was a normal thing. Because even this teacher did, she's like, no, somebody's father sent them in. Oh, they found 8 small polyps. Where in, with the colonoscopy? Feels like nothing happened. Was that your first time going under ever? What state do you live in, Hennessy? You didn't go to school in New Jersey, did you, Lisa? Hey, Mona. Your teacher had them in class too? That is so weird. Because the only reason I saw, like, no one else in the regular science class saw them. They were like behind something. We were cleaning up. That is so weird. They were in your high school too? Oh my gosh, that's so weird. This was elementary school though. Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah, yes, Lisa, yes. In formaldehyde, right? Hi, VST. You've seen kittens in jars? Oh, my Lord. Sad. Well, listen to this one. You didn't go in New Jersey, did you, Lisa? In 1974? Wow. Well, yeah, well, listen to this. It's like Casey Anthony. Uh-huh. Oh, in upstate New York? Okay, you lived, all right. The starfish gonads? No, we had frogs in 8th grade, and remember when they did the cats in anatomy and physiology in high school, Mona? What is Lisa? Hennessy, did you answer me about what state you live in? What did you have? What did who have? Who had a baby? Somebody had a baby? Who had a baby? Frugal Mom just had a baby? Oh, Frugal Mom. How many kids do you have? Do you have boys, girls? What do you, is this, congratulations. Joanne, I said people could call in, but no one said anything yet. Really, Anna? Yeah? Okay, what about, you skipped class one yet? I'm curious to see what state Hennessy's in. You saw some in Ohio when you were in 7th grade? Wow. Pennsylvania. Okay. Oh, that's right, Hennessy. That's right. No, no, it was Mrs. Cump, C-U-M-P, and who did I? Mr. Zerenner, and yeah, that was it for elementary school. But when I just went to my son's science class, this guy's like, well, we're going to be doing the human body, and what I do, since I have a friend of mine that's a butcher, I bring in, when we're studying lungs, I bring in a set of lungs with the trachea attached from a pig, because pigs are just like, are very similar to humans. And then he's like, and everyone's like, ew, I'm not going to touch that. And then they're like taking sections of the trachea and they're looking under the microscope. And he's like, and then I'm bringing in the intestines. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Okay. And the hearts. Oh no, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, Mona, that you woke up. Oh. They heard you talking to them? Or were you paralyzed, like in that crazy state that I'm so scared of that stuff? Brooke is only spending tonight in prison. She is working in an office and finished a semester in community college. Where did you hear that, Janelle? Because I heard that she's applied for many, many jobs and she was unable to get any of them. Hi, RC Breeze. Frugal Mom, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I keep asking a question, then I go back to see the answer, then I miss 10 more questions. Frugal Mom, how many kids do you have already, and what are they, boys or girls? You probably answered. And hey, Jessica. I've been out all day. I'm just about. Oh my gosh. Hi, Catherine. It's not blurry for me. They used to not put you asleep. That's because. What, Lacey? You took an amazing nap. You felt nothing. You took a good nap and got to get something to eat afterwards. Oh boy, Mona. Oh, I don't want to hear that stuff. Oh, you currently have a daughter. She's 10. Oh, wow. And now you're having a girl? Yeah, okay. Wow, okay. Congratulations. Thanks, Mommy, for the win. I must have missed it. Skylar. Oh, Sandy, she works for the lawyers? Okay, yeah. You'll be fine whenever you have to have it done. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. The room is spinning. He was out. He didn't wake up. He didn't like going through the rest of the day feeling like he lost part of his day. Okay, so hey, Tico. Hey, everybody is okay, Hennessy. You had like 9 of them, Danielle? You had like 9 colonoscopies, Danielle? I totally don't remember anything during mine. I took Jimmy to, right after we had Ethan. Ethan was like 3 months old, and Jimmy had to go for one, right? And so I dropped him off at the hospital, and I said, call me when you're done, because they said it was going to be a while. And I had a newborn, okay? So I took the baby, and I went to the mall. And that was the time when you still, you went into Sears and you got portraits done, right? So I said, well, okay, I'll go into Sears and I'll get some portraits done while I'm waiting. So then they tell you, right, you come back. And I said, yeah, I have to pick up my husband. And then I went and I looked at a refrigerator, and I was like, it was a really good price. So I picked Jimmy up, and I remember the nurse had him like wheeled out to the thing in a wheelchair. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had not seen him like that, right? So I just because he looked so like weak, or I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks like my father or something. So he got in, and I didn't realize he was loopy-ish, because he was saying he was okay. And I said, okay, we're going to stop back at the mall because I got Ethan's pictures done, and we have to go there and pick some out. They're going to show us on the computer. And then I saw a refrigerator, if you want to come look. So we bought a refrigerator. He sat there and he picked out photos with me, right? But then he didn't remember he did any of that. He didn't remember. He was loopy. But I had him going all over. Oh, and I want to show the pictures. The law firm. I didn't forget the law firm. Okay, so anyway, I was going over this thing, but yeah, everybody listened to the closing arguments, right? So it's just, she was saying that she was so fearful that she was pregnant, and she asked her mother for the birth control appointment, and then Dr. Andrews, Brooke burst into tears. I can't have this baby. No one can know. No follow-up. No effort to bring her daughter in the world. Only thing she did is research how to get rid of a baby, right? She gave birth in the bedroom. This is what she says. Sees another doctor. Dr. Boyce confronts her. She says she buried a stillborn baby. Investigation started. And then she started about the circumstantial evidence carrying the same weight as direct evidence. Said that there were no plans, no adoption, told no one about her labor, had a silent birth, no medical assistance, no hospital for her daughter, and then was saying, OMG, I'm so happy I'm going to the gym to erase everything about her daughter. Brooke's perfect life was back, and I'm going to be in trouble for murdering her without any prompting, is what she said at the interrogation. This is all the closing statement of the prosecution. Acts purposeful in a way to cause her daughter's death by any means is aggravated murder. And then she went into endangering a child is reckless. And then she said, if you find, she went through everything there. And she didn't say very clearly that they would have to find evidence of a live birth. So then we had Sonny Boy defense was showing the box with the mouse, the cat and the mouse in the box, right? And all the holes that were in the box. And then the guy that looks like Rourke got up. But before that, the Sonny Boy said, if you find it unlikely, not likely, if you think unlikely that it was if you think maybe, possibly, probably, a live birth, is highly likely, you must find her not guilty. That's what he said. So the jury, our soldiers fought for the high burden of proof. This is all Sonny Boy. And then it went to the box. If you have one reason to doubt, put together my thoughts. You can agree with me or have your own. And he goes into the IUGR that he believes, and the podium. He's talking about the fundal height. If he told you he made the podium by hand, and then this prosecution would say, you didn't use a saw? So he said that's the same thing about the fundal height, right? And think about the teachers and the counselors that said they didn't know she was pregnant. That proves growth restriction. And Dr. White, saying that Skylar had never seen a dead baby and said, White, I think, that she never cut the umbilical cord. And now the holes are going in. The mouse is coming out of the box. The bleeding, he said, is placental abruption. She goes back to the OB, the same OB-GYN that her aunt works at. Look at her life history. A zebra does not change. 3 times she stated the baby was not alive. 17 times she denied fire. Burial with a flower pot and flowers. She named the baby. They keep talking about concealing. What about people that put them in dumpsters? They distance themselves. Okay, she could have done like the towels and disposed of the baby elsewhere. Okay, but even the tampering with evidence charge is gone, he said. Right, and find her not guilty. They continue to make up references to the fire. They want you to ignore your common sense. Ignore what she said about the cord. Ignore that she said the baby was white. They brought in a DNA expert. There's none of Annabelle's blood in the house. But why would there be Annabelle's blood in the house? All of that blood would have been Skylar's. Luminol lights up like a Christmas tree from cleaners. But they continue to talk about birth in the bedroom. The proper verdict is during deliberation. It's not necessary for the defendant to testify. You saw what they did to the doctors, he said. Those 2 interrogations were enough, right? Someone says no prenatal care. You can't fault her for not getting prenatal care 11 days before birth. And then he said that Ms. Kraft was saying maybe she had her standing up, maybe like this, maybe like that, maybe the concealed the pregnancy for 9 months. He said not true. She had a suspicion, but they acted like she was genuinely sinister and evil, cold-blooded, wanted to kill Annabelle, then go back to the same OB-GYN. You heard Dr. Andrew gives everyone the suicide talk. Let's see. And now you trust Skylar when she said kind of big, but you don't trust her in anything else she said. He said, my wife gave birth to my daughter in a great hospital. She did not have 6 years of an eating disorder. I could tell my wife was pregnant. She had doctors monitoring her. She had a cesarean. When they brought the baby out, the baby was blue-purple. I never saw a baby in my life. I was scared. Then she let out what they call, and I saw the miracle of life that the doctor spoke about. He said, texting 2 people who did not know does not mean she was not grieving, and she was not only she's learned over the years to concentrate on her body whenever she's feeling stressed. That's how she deals with it. That's why she was talking about her body. Professor Hirsch showed how susceptible a person like that could be. He said in his interview she's like a 12-year-old. And what else? You need to consider the counts separately. Not guilty on the first 3 counts. That is what reasonable doubt feels like, he said. He told them about their conduct while deliberating. You have a reason to doubt the live birth. You have to fight for Skylar. I trust you'll find her not guilty. Okay, at this point, the father was crying. The mother was wiping her face. I didn't see tears. Then the prosecution came back. My belly is back. My belly is back. The belly is the baby. Okay, she showed the baby no respect, no blanket, meant nothing to her. I'm literally speechless. How happy I am. Showed a photo of her the same day. You know, she was sitting very stoically when this happened. She had 10 weeks to tell them, we know that's not true. She would never be completely honest. Okay. The mother got the text from Hilltop. She knew. Then he went in IUGR, numerous flaws with that. Based on one measurement, there's no way they could tell that it was IUGR. They keep saying she said really white. You know, she said, I think. White, I think. Fingers, toes. She said, I don't know. Stillbirth diagnosis. Are you kidding me? She's not, you know, how can she make a diagnosis of stillborn? She needed to call someone. And then they said, Dr. White, he's just a regular OBGYN. Dr. Brady is the maternal fetal specialist. And the only person who saw the baby was Brooke. And that she worked in child watch. She handled babies as young as 6 weeks old. She knew babies were. She said the baby was kind of big. Dr. White gave no weight to that statement. Why? Normally people say when they see a baby, it's so small, not it's kind of big. Not Brooke, but they discounted it, and because it didn't fit their narrative of IUGR. She did not want her baby. She disposed of her in the backyard. The state's expert, they keep saying the state's expert got it wrong, that the baby's bones were charred, but that's not the state's expert. That expert was hired by the coroner's office. The state never hid that fact, and they hired their own expert to get an objective opinion, and they called them to testify. No bone charring, but cannot say the skin was not burned because of Brooke burying the baby. There is no way to determine for sure that cause of death just from the remains. We can't tell if she was suffocated, drowned, but it's most obvious that she was killed to silence her. And let's see, the defendant did it purposefully so no one can test this baby. In your discussions, you have to understand you don't have certain evidence due to the defendant's actions. And what else? Her actions point to the child being alive. The image of the perfect life. The walls were crumbling in. She wasn't going to risk losing, so she goes to extreme behaviors. And that doctor didn't even consider she had all the traits of neonaticide, and he went into all the traits, check, 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 each one he said. And then that Dr. White said was it's an old article. Then they gave him a peer review article, and he didn't take it into consideration anyway. He went into the direct and circumstantial evidence, and then he told them you've got to compare it to the pieces of a puzzle. You can see the whole picture even if there's a few pictures missing. Okay, the first piece, she didn't want the baby. It was unwanted. Okay, she wanted nothing to do with the father. She had an intense fear of losing Brandon. And her mother, he said, you know, her mother, she was scared of her mother because her mother equated getting pregnant with destroying your life. So she told them right there, I didn't want to have my baby, but I couldn't get rid of it. She needed to look for ways. How to have an abortion without a doctor, she looked up. How to get rid of your baby. Sounds bad, doesn't it? She even said in an interrogation, he said. And she mentioned that it gave you different things to do, like pills and in different ways, but I didn't do any of them. Yeah, and then she deleted all of that stuff, and she deleted the text between her mother and her and Brandon. He said, why would she do that? The doctor told her to tell someone what was going on. She said she would not. She knew her mother. Her mother said it would ruin her life. She never followed up with the prenatal care. She did nothing for the baby. Her actions bury her, got rid of the towels and the mess. The father even asked, did you get rid of them at our house? She said someplace else. Shows that there was thought and planning, and it was not a scared kid. That did mean something to me, okay? That she planned enough to get rid of those bloody towels somewhere else. That she moved the bed to conceal. That Dr. Boyce first said Brooke told her she delivered in her bedroom. Look at the stain in relation to the bed. Look that the Deputy Smith said that there was a torso outline on it. The cleaning fluid can light up, but there was also a minor component that was too small to text. Look at the bloody footprint on the way to the bathroom. And look at her mood or feelings. Remember when she said, I loved her, I would never harm her. But look at the text she sent before the police got involved. She was literally speechless with how happy she was. My belly is back. Her child is no longer, and she is thrilled. Same morning, she texted Brandon, I am happy. One day, after putting her daughter in the ground, she said she's strutting down every hallway, killing it. And she was sitting there kind of shaking her head. Doctor's office, only after they confronted her did she say anything. She still did not want her mother to know. We have all the pieces we need. The image is clear. She didn't want the baby. She lied. She concealed no preparations. She buried the baby. She destroyed everything. She was happy the baby died. She never told anyone. Okay, because of how what she described it. Second interview. Oh, she never talked about the baby. She used the word it in the first interview. That's how she described it. It was the second interview. Suddenly the baby had a name, Annabelle, and let's see. They're saying then she had, she was the naming of the baby was very calculated move. Her true intentions are clear by not calling 911, no hospital, no parents, didn't call her brother, delivered the baby, or not. Why not get your parents? Are you just going to show up at their door with this baby? She forced to give birth in silence. Remember that doctor said you'd have to have extreme motivation to do that. Her motivation was getting her perfect life back, not getting the child help if something's wrong. What kind of mother would accept that? The death of her baby. Any mother would call someone to help her daughter if you wanted to save her. No life-saving measures. The puzzle shows, the evidence shows. And should have gotten help, should have called, no justification. She didn't do anything. Bare minimum, they said involuntary manslaughter, endangering the life of a child. She remained quiet, didn't get help, never allowed to live. She actually researched how to get rid of a baby and made it happen. And maintain her appearance of a perfect life. I'm literally speechless how happy I am. That was it. Then they gave the jury instructions, which I knew as soon as the judge gave those instructions, that she was just going to get gross. Handling of a corpse. Yeah, Diane, yeah. The Richter jury is smoking hot. The Richter Jr. Oh, the Richter Jr. is? Oh, the pictures. And the pictures at the very end. All right, now Sakura wants to see the pictures. Hold on, I'll show you. Well, I'll give you the website. I mean, I'll give you their website, and here, I'm gonna give you the link to the website. Just look at the two people in front. Tell me they don't look like brother and sister, okay? Oh, I imagine. I imagine maybe they'll go to Destin, Florida, where they like to vacation. I don't know. Hey, Melly Mel. How easy on the eyes he is. Is anybody looking at that website? Right? So I'm like, and then I read their biographies, and I'm like, okay, well, they don't say like, like, because the Sons has that he's living with his wife and stuff, okay? So I'm like, okay, so that they must be brother and sister. And then I went to the Facebook page, and no, they're together, like, they're together. Isn't that crazy? The two attorneys, Daddy defense and Mommy defense, but she wasn't on the case. No, the Charlie Sr., the father, and the wife. Did you get the link? Sandy, go to the link. Here. Go to the link. Yeah, Ellen. Yes, Ellen. You're freezing? Oh, wow. It's kind of warm here tonight. Actually, it was like a little humid. Here, Tico. The two lawyers with the white hair in the front, the guy and the girl, the man and the woman. Yes, because I went to the face. I was convinced it was his sister because in his biography and her biography, they don't mention. If you read the biographies of everyone, you'll see a lot of them mention, like his son. It says like Charles lives with his wife, also an attorney for another firm, and. But I'm like, okay, he must be divorced or from his first wife, and that must be his sister, right? And his brother and sister started a law firm. So that's what I thought. And then I went to the Facebook page. Why do we call the laser? The laser? Not the laser. What laser? We call the senior Charlie, the guy, the one that thinks he's Jack Nicholson. We call him I call him Daddy Defense just because he's the daddy and he's on the defense team. So I call him Daddy Defense. Hey, Diana. You're going to have, over those pictures? No, I thought they were siblings, but they're not. Go to the Facebook page. Is Annie that you see an Annie there? Hold on a second. I want to see something. I want to see Annie because I had to look quickly before I left. Somebody said the guy in the back with the mustache is also related? Who? The guy with the dark hair? So where do you see Oh, Annie. I see Annie. Okay, hang on. In her spare time, Annie loves spending time with her family and being outside. She's glad to be living in Ohio again after a decade away from home. But it's just like his didn't say anything, and I was like, that is so weird that it doesn't say anything. Go to Facebook. On the bottom, you can click on the social media icons, right? go to Facebook and scroll down a little bit. You see they just had their, listen to this one, they just had their professional portraits done in their offices, along with that 360 photography that they probably got for free because they got that guy hired, probably. They put a big price, and then you'll do our office as a okay, good. I'm telling you, I guarantee you. They just had their August 30th, because they were all ready for this. We're going to be big news. We got to get our all new photos taken. Firm photos shot that morning. And wait, you have got to keep scrolling down. And you'll see there's a picture. I'll find it, and I'll give you the link. Oh, there's a picture of all, if you go down, there's a picture. See, this is why I didn't think the son was there. Because, I mean, the daughter was there. I didn't think Annie was their daughter because there's a picture of the mother, the father, and Charlie Jr. in the middle on January 23rd. And maybe the daughter left and just came back, and maybe she's leaving again soon. But you have to really, let me see, scroll down. Must have been a while, because I'm... And they're at an event. And it says, oh, here it is. Charles H. Ritgers and his wife, Ellen Ritgers, this weekend during his induction ceremony for the American College of Trial Lawyers, March 5th. I'll give you the link for it. Okay? It's his wife. Oh, you want to call in? Okay, send me an email. Oh, here, I'll make a chat that thingamajiggy. Okay. Oh, Birdie, I'm sending you a thing too. Alrighty. All right. Let's see. Whoops. Okay, hold on. Yeah, you noticed it. This is the 1,000 video on the channel. I saw that, J-Bells, before I went on. It said 999. Thanks. All right, so let's have Birdie. Okay, Birdie, I sent you a number. And Victoria, I just sent to you a number. And Joanne, I see you too, but let's do this in order. And then let me see here. So I'll send you the number 2, but let's let everybody like have a turn, and then when one person's getting off, then the other person can call. So Bertie, I think you call in first. Okay. He cursed on TV during the post interview? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, Danielle, yeah, I'd love to hear your voice. I've never heard your voice. All right, shoot me an email and I'll send you the number. $49? That's so weird, Lisa. It's not like that here. There's something making a ticking sound, and it sounds like it's coming from my refrigerator. Oh no, it might be my slow cooker with the bone broth. That's probably what it is. $47. That is so weird. That is so weird. You're in New Jersey and it's like 62, then I must be totally not feeling the weather. It was rainy, but it was like humidity. 65 in Southern California. It never rains there, though, right? You were like that yesterday? Where are you two, Scooter? You're down south, right? Landshark? You have the air on full blast. It was 97 in Southern California. Tico's saying it's... Oh, you shouldn't feel attacked, Melly Mel. Everybody can have their own opinion. Not everyone's going to agree. You know, you have almost, what, like, close to 400 people, and, you know, not everyone's going to agree. I sent Danielle the instructions. Birdie has instructions. Birdie, oh, here's Birdie. Is Birdie? Oh, Joanne. Hi, Joanne.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm just waiting to see if other people show up.
Oh, I think...
About the verdict?
Yeah. A couple have the numbers. So what do you think?
Well, strictly from the evidence that was presented, I think that the fact that an 18-year-old was even brought up on murder charges is astonishing, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not here to play devil's advocate. I'm not here to anger anyone. I'm not here to, just be the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
The last 3 days I've been in the chat room, and I've always advocated for Brooke Skylar. And I was, quite frankly, if I'm allowed to voice my opinion, I was really astonished and hurt at the reaction of the chat room. But that gives me an idea of what other people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So what are other people thinking? How old are they? What country are they from? What are women thinking? And I understand that women are going to be very, very invested in this case, because basically, my question was, what exactly is Brooke Skylar guilty of? Was it that she had a baby at home and it was unattended birth, and the outcome ended up in a dead child? Because if all women in America, the ones who choose to have an alternative birth, like those that don't want to be in the hospital, that don't want an IV, that don't want a catheter, the ones that, maybe have a doula, or they want to have a bath birth, or those women on the TLC channel that family.
Right. See, and I don't think it would have been fine if she wanted a home birth, because a lot of people have a home birth, but it was the fact just that what she did, that when the baby, if it was stillborn,
what she did with the end result, I'd like to talk about that a little bit later. I'd like to talk about, that not all women have health care, and she knew she was pregnant. She was told by a medical doctor, you're pregnant, and she said, I can't have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pregnant. And I personally have known of young girls in their teens that were faced with the same kind of situation. They're not married, they live with strict Catholic parents, and to be pregnant would be like, you look at the last 100 years in Ireland, what used to happen with little babies from unmarried women. But the thing is that this has long-reaching implications, because any woman that has a birth and it doesn't go right, because that baby could have been alive.
But yeah, but see, none of that would have mattered. Like if the baby was stillborn and she had it at home, it would have been fine as long as she didn't try to conceal it. That was the problem. The home birth was nothing, like she could have a home birth if she wanted. It was just that she didn't let anyone know that she had a baby and the baby was stillborn. Instead, that was the big problem.
Well, do you consider the fact that her mother, her father, her brother, and a dog were home the night that she, you
Hmm.
know,
But they all said that they weren't called and they didn't know.
suffered through this labor? Why was it that this young girl or young woman, I shouldn't say girl, at 18 she was a young woman.
Right.
Why do you think, Carolyn, that she didn't feel comfortable going to any of them for help? I mean, in during the part where the cervix opens up completely, the
Hmm.
transition,
Hmm.
I mean, at that point, wouldn't she have cried out to her brother at least?
You would think so, yeah. I mean, that's what has everybody wrapped up. That why didn't she at that point let anyone know she was in labor? Because how would she not know? Let's say, it was a stillborn birth. Let's say it was, but she wouldn't know that 100%. The baby was alive 11 days earlier at the OBGYN's office. So let's say it was a live birth. What was she going to do when the baby was born?
I think she was in such a state of denial of I can't be pregnant and the panic behind that she was wanting an out. My thoughts were when was supposedly prescribed birth control pills was did she go home and take all 30 of them? What did she maybe do to induce labor or something? Like castor oil or something of that nature when you want
Mm.
to deliver. But I don't believe she aborted her baby or used anything, to
I don't know.
cause
I
labor.
had a baby myself at 19. Okay. Yes, granted, I was married and, the baby was conceived after my wife. So, but I was still not far out of her age. And yet I knew, believe me, if my baby would have started to be born at home, my reaction wouldn't be if something happened to take it out in the backyard and bury it. And then you're going to say, okay, well, you were in a marriage, you wanted the baby, um, but still, it's 18, like you said. It's not like she's 13 or and I don't know. 18 is 18. You should know that there's implications if you take your baby out and bury it in the backyard.
Did you know that when I went to Lamaze, and I know I'm different from the rest of the chat by 98% or 95%, just based on my life. But when I went to Lamaze class and they showed us a movie with like a natural labor
Uh
and
huh.
the lady had her knees up in the air and the baby comes out, and
Right.
then they put on another movie, and this was now in the 1980s, and then they put on another movie and it showed a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was break time and let's have some punch and cookies and we'll meet back on the floor, bring your mats, that kind of thing. And I remember looking at the Lamaze teacher and I was literally just shaking. And I was in my mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, what are my other options? And she looked at me very quizzically and confused, like many of you do. And then she's like, what do you mean, Joanne? Those are your two options. And I just wanted the baby like backed out another way, like just reverse the
You wanted
process.
you wanted drugs during the birth.
I wanted the baby to disappear because I did not want to have.
Oh, you didn't want a baby.
I didn't want a birth. No,
Oh, you didn't want a
I
birth.
wanted my baby. When I
Oh.
found out I was pregnant, I was real happy to have a baby.
Okay.
Wanted.
You
I
just didn't
wanted
want
a
to go through
baby.
childbirth.
Right. I was so shocked at what I saw in my 20s.
How did you think it was going to happen?
Well, that's the thing. What did I think was going to happen? Why was I so upset and irrational to say to the teacher, what's my third option? I don't like A.
Mm-hmm.
And all that water and blood, and she's screaming, and I've seen water births and things on YouTube. I've watched some before. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know I was pregnant. I think it's kind of fascinating. When I
Right.
became a registered nurse, I was present at births,
Uh-huh.
and but I'm just saying, not everyone reacts like the same.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
I
mean,
mean
I
that
I
baby.
saw my whole life. I remember really being like 5 years old, and I think when Channel 13. Do you remember they used to show that? They used to show a live. I mean, a live birth right in there. I mean, no blurring or anything. And I had seen that since I was like 4 or 5 years old. So I had no like misconceptions of what happened. And then my sister-in-laws, because my brothers were all older than me, they were all going through, I heard all their stories because my nieces and nephews were like my age. And then, so I had been around it my whole life. I don't know. I mean, to me, I can't imagine. Hi, who's here?
Danielle?
584.
Who is it? Janelle? Who?
Danielle.
Oh,
Danielle.
Danielle. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. So, what do you think?
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out how to get in, so it took me a while. So I
Oh,
missed you and Joanne Dallas speaking. I'm sorry.
oh,
No, that's no problem. I'll just sit back and listen, Danielle.
No, I wasn't kicking you off at all. I was trying to call in and missed what you guys were talking about. I mean,
Oh,
I know obviously the case,
right. Joanne was
but
saying, like, could it be that she didn't know what were you saying that what is it that she it is oh sorry Zoe, is that Zoe? Okay, we're okay. um that it was it like just a home birth, and is that the issue that what about these other women that want to have a home birth, or they want to have it in a water tub at home? Is it the same thing? And and I said, well, she would have been okay up into the point that she didn't tell anyone and buried the baby.
absolutely. Like with any home birth, it's you need like a doula, a midwife, some kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just, you can't just sit home and be quiet. And it was just so shady, and she was so manipulative. And
Okay, so.
I truly just believe she knew what she was doing. She wanted to move on with her life and just go on, like with the college and her life, and she just wanted the baby to disappear. And it was, and now that I understand, because there wasn't enough proof, and she got charged with what she did. But I believe she should serve some kind of time and have mandatory therapy, to fix this, because if this is such a slap on the wrist, what stops any other girl from thinking, hey, we can get away with this and it'll be nothing?
Mm-hmm. Right, right. Yeah, that's what I think too, because like people said, we have those drop offs, there's adoption, there's so many other options. And then people say, well, but the baby was stillborn. But if the baby was stillborn, then just nothing would have happened to her. She would have just said, I had the
Yes,
baby at stillborn,
exactly.
and she wouldn't be where she is now. So I think that's the whole thing,
Yes, very true.
you know?
Danielle, may I respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, I don't think the verdict in this case is going to encourage other pregnant teenagers from carrying it to term and giving birth, say, suffocating the baby and disposing of the baby. I really don't think that that's an option that women want. If they could have prevented getting pregnant in the first place, and from what she said or he said, from what the birth father, the father of the baby said, is he used protection once, and then one time they didn't, and then immediately that relationship ended. And I just don't see girls wanting to get pregnant and being forced to choose between, do I have an abortion? Do I give birth and keep the baby? Do I give birth and be very altruistic and give the baby away? I almost feel like the only way Brooke Skylar can redeem herself in the eyes of society is to have a baby, have another woman's egg that's fertilized with another person's sperm, and have this fertilized, whatever they call it when it's
A
3 days
surrogate.
old, and that Brooke Skylar almost needs to like carry a child and give one up to even redeem herself within society because everyone is so angry with her.
Yeah, but I also think it's kind of rightfully so because she absolutely knew everything she did was wrong. Like whether it was a stillborn or not, she never asked for help.
No, and I think that's terribly sad. Why couldn't she reach out to any member of her family? Why couldn't she tell anybody on the cheerleading squad? Why couldn't she tell her boyfriend, oh my God, I went to the doctor and I found out something terrible? Because with her
I think
eating
because
disorder, if her periods were, you know, I mean, this girl was alone and she was alone during a birth. I mean, do you know how traumatic? Can you imagine being in your bedroom on the
Well,
floor?
that's what I was
oh,
saying. That if you
absolutely not.
really
I
had
could not.
you would think you were dying if you had, okay,
Yeah, I thought I was dying in a hospital, so I could
right,
never
and
do
you have
that.
somebody saying, "No, you're okay, Danielle. You're okay. Just breathe." Right?
And I'm like, breathe. Breathing is not this helping.
But yeah, here's the ring of fire. Just breathe. Okay. But if you don't have anybody telling you and you're really not educated at all in that, you would think you're dying.
Yes.
You would think you'd think your uterus fell out when your placenta came out probably. Right?
Yeah,
You'd probably think your
it was
entire uterus
insane.
came out.
I mean,
Yes, it was insane.
she'd only lived with the knowledge of being pregnant for a week or longer. She really didn't have, and I know that this is angering people because people, I've read all of what's been in chat for all these days now, and it's the same over on the Scott Reach channel. Any channel that has anything to do with this trial, you can look at the chat and see how it was divided.
Oh, yeah. Well, the prosecutor said that today in his press conference. He said that if you look at all of the media that was there, he told them to look at their Facebook and their Twitter feeds, and you'll see the people divided.
But Danielle,
Yeah.
what I want to know from you is that,
Mhm.
do you feel any sympathy or compassion or mercy toward this girl, or are you very set on she's white, she's blonde, she has blue eyes, she lives in an upper class family, and the law is different for a poor black woman versus a wealthy white girl, or is it just the fact that you're looking at the idea of a beautiful pink lovely baby born at 9 months and being put into the ground because the baby was probably covered with that white waxy stuff. I don't know the name of it. It protects their skin.
Vernex Cocosa, something like
Vernix,
that.
and
Yeah.
nurses always rub it off before they give the baby to the mommy, and then it makes the baby really pink and everything. But when she said the baby was white, that was what I thought it was. It was, some babies have a tremendous. They look like 2 sticks of butter have been rubbed on them. Cream cheese just smeared on them.
No, yes, and I do have compassion for her. I don't think she should be, stoned and drug on the street at all. She's a woman, she's a girl, just like everybody else. She was very scared, and I think she just wanted it to go away. But I have compassion for her, but I also am disappointed in she didn't like there would have been nothing if the baby was born already dead, then just be like, hey, I had the baby and then help me, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think she should have said, like, I can get that she was freaked, that she said, I can't, whatever, this is not what I planned for. But yeah, to tell someone and deal with it. At that point, it was so far along, she had to make a decision and deal with it. And she needed to tell someone. The doctor told her she had to tell someone. And if she had only done that, she wouldn't be in this position. didn't mean she had to keep the baby. She could have given the baby for adoption, and the baby would have still been gone the next day. Had the baby been born alive and she decided to give it up for adoption, she would have literally done the same thing and handed that baby over to someone else. And then she could have still said, I don't have to, but I seem to think it was the fact that that would be the thing. Then everybody would know she had a baby. Whereas I think she didn't want anyone to know she had a baby.
Right, the concealment, the secrecy was brought up, and that was the obstacle that she could not overcome, and that's why she went through that ridiculous birth alone in a room when there were 3 human beings there, that all she had to do was cry out once and someone would have been there. And the fact that she felt it so necessary to her own well-being, her own survival. I mean, she could have died so easily. A young girl like that with an eating disorder who only gained 15 pounds during the entire pregnancy, she could have died. She could have bled out. That placenta
Oh,
could have ruptured.
absolutely. I hemorrhaged in a hospital with my third out of nowhere. And it's very, very serious. But, and I don't know if that's what you, Joanne, that's what you thought. I'm not sure. Did you say she only believed she was pregnant a couple of weeks?
I thought that the doctor told her she was pregnant 11 days before she gave birth. That she
Yeah,
only,
but she knew she was pregnant the whole time. Ha- I can't believe that she didn't know. She was just she was with her mom. She didn't want the mom to find out at the doctor. That was just all, smoke and mirrors. She absolutely knew that she was pregnant the whole time. She blocked the boyfriend. That was before even the doctor's appointment. All these things just don't add up.
well,
See,
I don't
Christine
know.
says
I
the
don't
same thing.
blame
It's not that
you.
adoption was the issue. It's not that there would have, like the doctor said, there would have people would line up to raise the baby, to adopt the baby. But it was about her reputation then too, because then that's how I feel. Okay, so if she had really run, I would have a lot of compassion for her, if she got pregnant, okay, and then decided, I'm in a tough jam. What do I do? Okay, and I would not have judged her at all. I would have said, okay, well, then you do the right thing. You can't raise the baby. You don't want to raise the baby. You want to go on with your life, and it's too late to do anything else. So have the baby, and give it up for adoption.
I agree with that. And that's how I think all of us feel, that she had options. And I just think she gave birth to that baby so quietly, so sneaky, wrapped it up, probably squeezed it to suffocate it so it wouldn't cry and it would pass away, and and then bury it in the yard, whether she had help from her mom or she did it, in the wee morning, I don't think she did it right after giving birth, because that's a little unbelievable. But I wasn't there. I don't know. I just think that you can see she's so manipulative. She's always lying, and she plays the baby, the innocent, the cry. You gonna love me? Do you forgive me? All that. It's just I don't want to put judgment, but how can we not judge seeing something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Danielle,
Yeah.
at what stage of the pregnancy, at what week of the pregnancy do you feel that Brooke Skylar knew she was pregnant? Did she know after 6 weeks?
I don't know if she knew after 6 weeks. I would
How
imagine
about
she
10
knew.
weeks?
No, I don't even think 10 weeks. I think maybe closer to about 13 weeks, because then you kind of start feeling things inside and they start, tapping and moving, and you start feeling life inside you. And she admitted that she felt the baby move. But I wasn't there. I don't
I
know
didn't
her. I
see
don't know if
that in
she knew
court. I don't think the
immediately.
jury saw that in court where she had testified that she felt the baby movements. Was that brought out in trial? Because the jury can only
No, she said she felt movement. She said the baby moved a lot when the detective asked her in the one interview. She said she felt a lot of movement. But
And that was something the jury heard.
yeah, because it was in the interview, and they heard the interview. Yeah, so they heard it. But here's another thing: if you say she was terrified, right? I know that if I was terrified and I didn't know anything about, I truly would think I'm dying. So somebody that's terrified, you would call, look how. Here's the other thing: in the interview, when she thought she was in trouble, she was calling out for reassurance. You're still going to love me. You're still, right? You're still going to love me. If you're going through that childbirth and you know nothing about it, and you just look when people think they're dying or they think they're in a crash, they're going to call out to the people, like they just forget everything. Nothing is going to be important. If she thought she was dying, she thought her insides were coming out, right? And she was, this is it. You couldn't help but call your mother. You wouldn't even be thinking of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in trouble. You're going to be thinking like, this might be my last breath. I'm scared to death. My insides have just come out. I'm dying. I'm going to call my mother.
So why didn't she call out to her mother, Carolyn? Is there a theory on that?
I think it's because it was premeditated. I think she knew she didn't want it, and it was a premeditated thing, whether it was born stillborn or she did suffocate it or just let it die. But I do believe it was premeditated, and she did not want this baby regardless. So that's how I
didn't
feel.
want the baby. I agree she didn't want to be pregnant. She didn't want the baby. She was like me. Oh, can you just make it disappear, like, twinkle your nose and get it out of me kind of thing, without cutting me open or having it go out the other end, just make it disappear. And that's not reality. And so this case, the significance of this case, I believe, is not about Brooke and this birth. It's about being held accountable. There's question marks, and none of us can answer the question. The prosecution can't. The pathology that looks at the remains cannot. The doctor that counseled her when he found out she was pregnant 11 days ago, the baby was alive 11 days ago in that doctor's office. It had a heartbeat. It was a well-developed by, he knew how far along she was, or thought he knew how far along she was. And the fact that she was in labor the day before at that game. She had cramps at the prom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was in labor then, right?
Labor for like 48 hours at least, and still she said nothing. Still she was quiet. She was stoic.
Yes, I know. And then what about when she did go to the doctor and then she did, know that she was, completely pregnant, which I think she knew already. She was like, please don't tell my mom. And then why would she get birth control pills? Why would that doctor give her birth control pills and then start taking them the next day? So then that makes me, okay, should that doctor's license should be taken away? I think so. Because what was that doctor doing? Giving a very pregnant person birth control pills. What would that do? It's not gonna, she's already pregnant. It's not gonna stop a pregnancy. It could possibly kill one. I'm not a doctor, I don't know. I just don't think that this doctor was right at all in any of it, with the speaking to her about, suicide and, and all that stuff in the third trimester. I've had 4 children, never ever had that discussion with my doctor.
Right, neither did I, yeah.
Yeah, and it was, and I just don't understand how normally the doctor gave her birth control pills when she was that very pregnant. What was that about?
Right.
I just don't get that.
Hi, who else called in?
It's Tanya. I was just kind of waiting for
It's who is it?
Tanya.
Victoria.
Oh, Tanya and Victoria.
Point.
No, go ahead. I mean, weigh in. Let whoever wants, Tanya or Victoria, say. How do you feel about it?
I am
Well-
angry. I am
absolutely angry. I have cried more tears for that little murderer, or in my opinion, murderer's baby than she ever will. The way her mom smirked and laughed in court made me sick. Um, and to me, I know it was just, most everything was just circumstantial, but there was so much circumstantial evidence there, and like you said earlier, there was no plan for a living baby. And this is not 1940 or 1920. It's 2019. And, you know, everyone knows there are other options. And there's so many things that she could have done, but she didn't because, like I said, I feel like she killed that baby. And I don't think my mind could be changed on that because I think she smothered the life right out of that baby.
I agree with you. I agree she didn't want that baby alive from the beginning.
And I think, honestly, this case has made me rethink so many things. Like, I think health classes or sex ed in high school really needs to start addressing to these girls. Like, if you find yourself pregnant, like, these are your options. But, even if it's too late for an abortion or the morning after pill, these are your options.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I think every girl does know this. And if they don't, then, hey, society, let's educate these girls because
like,
we
really
all
drive it
went
home.
through it. Like Jessica was saying, where'd those commercials go? These commercials need to be back on the television and, about dropping babies off. And it's, in hospitals, fire stations, police stations. I agree with that. So, because I remember that being, smashed into my brain, always seeing it. And then now I have children and I from 18 to 7, and I've never seen one of those commercials. So
Right.
that's generations that are not getting this information and apparently not saying it at school. I speak to my daughter. I speak to all my children very honestly, as I think every mom should, because you should know what's going on with your children and
Right.
guide them the best. We can't keep them in a bubble and protect them forever, which we all want to do. But I need them to know the truth from me, not to hear it from a friend or from somebody else that might give my daughter the wrong information. So where accidents happen, we're human and it happens. It's not the end of the world. And then you work it out somehow. You either keep it, you give it away, and you work it out.
And I don't think this, I heard someone mention white privilege on and off today. But, Ohio alone, they have a girl that I can't remember which university she went to, but she was in a sorority, and she put her baby, right after it was born. She put it in a trash bag, put it in a trash can. She had all of the same charges that Skylar had, and she's in prison. So, I honestly think when it goes to a jury trial, it's just a crapshoot a lot of the times. But now I have a question. Was she charged with abuse of a corpse or gross abuse of a corpse? Because one's a misdemeanor and one's a felony.
Gross negligence.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Gross negligence in the disposal of the corpse is what she was charged with. What she was actually found guilty of. Disposing of the corpse in a way that is not natural.
Oh, but was it actually stated that it was gross abuse of a corpse or?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
The last charge that they found her guilty on was that, for the disposal of the baby in the manner which she chose to do.
Okay.
But that was abuse.
So she is guilty.
She's guilty of abuse of a corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was just wondering if she was guilty of the misdemeanor version of that or the felony version.
It is misdemeanor. Misdemeanor. It was a misdemeanor that she's charged, but they did take her back to jail today.
Right.
They revoked her.
And oh my gosh, the tears, just for herself, nobody else, just for herself.
Oh, those tears were so for herself.
But yeah, that was one of the big things I was wondering, because I know in Ohio, like gross abuse of a corpse is considered a felony, but just abuse of a corpse is considered a misdemeanor. So I almost think that her family is probably going to sue the doctor's office um, over a HIPAA violation for sending the mom the email about her being pregnant. I think they'll probably try to sue the police station or the city or county or whatever.
Yeah, I
And
believe
I
the
think
father was even trying. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that family will pick up and they will move to another part of the country. And I mean, people that care that much about appearance, it wouldn't even surprise me if they changed their names and just,
Absolutely.
let the press die down a little bit, moved away. And, I just feel like, which now I do feel like they did violate her medical rights when they sent that, but it just makes me sick to think that they could actually file lawsuits. But I'm honestly hoping if they do and they win, that the parent or, the father's side of that baby's family comes right along behind them and takes that money away from them if they are to win any lawsuits.
Yeah, I guess it's just a terrible situation, unfortunately. And
There was just no
even though she
justice.
got the lesser charge, I do think she needed to be charged with some kind of time and mandatory therapy, to where I'm not saying throw this girl away forever. She made a terrible mistake, but it should be treated.
I almost think when people go to the doctor's office, when they go into the OB's office for that first time, or health department, or wherever they go to find out they're pregnant, they should actually have to sign something saying that they have been counseled on what to do if you do not want your baby.
You know what I was thinking?
Counseled on the safe haven laws of your, state.
I agree with
it's
that.
got to stop.
I think that if the girls were like given a urinalysis testing, and the boys, you could say it was like a drug screen or something. But with the females, is check their urine for pregnancy right there. Like they have their parents take them in, or girls in high school. A urinalysis is very inexpensive, and they can tell with a little dipstick, and then follow it through with the blood test. But it's almost like these prom girls, all these little stories about this girl in this state gave birth and left the fetus in a toilet. This is like a premature birth where it was very small, or this girl at prom, did. And it's like they need to start giving these girls a urinalysis testing when they enter prom, for somebody to be standing there with one of those scope things, listen for fetal heartbeats, because it's getting ridiculous how many senior proms we're it's like it's a birthing center now in the high schools.
It
it's
makes
terrible.
you wonder, though, how many people have had babies this way and just dumped them off somewhere, or hid the body, because apparently, I don't know, I'm just starting to feel like anybody could probably murder anyone as long as you can hide the corpse long enough, and just be like, oh, well, I just found them dead and thought I'd bury them. I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. I'm sorry.
I believe that's what's going to be said. I believe by letting her get away with so much of it, I'm afraid that other girls are going to look at this and be like, oh, I'll get nothing if, it was a stillborn and I buried it with my heart. Yeah, that's what I personally think and fear that's going to happen.
And here's another question I have about the trial itself, because I thought, they were starting to charge people. They may not be doing it in Ohio, but starting to charge people who, are using drugs while they're pregnant and, doing things to damage.
Oh, yes. Mothers are getting
charged
charged
women
for being on drugs now.
Yeah, they
now
do
you
charge
can
women.
Their unborn child.
Now you can be charged with a felony for using alcohol or drugs if the baby is born dependent.
That's right.
Yes, that's
Right.
true, and you could be
But
sent
this
to jail.
judge, did you listen to the judge's instructions? He said,
Yes.
I guess it's in Ohio, you can't be.
Right,
Oh,
that's why I was asking because he said that, and I'm like, wait a minute. Um,
I thought that was universal.
apparently
Now, I
not.
thought a law had been passed, you know, federal, not state or local, that uh, the abuse of alcohol or drugs while you were pregnant could result in a felony charge if that child was born dependent on drugs. Because sometimes they never survive that fetal alcohol and drug syndrome. It damages them for life. And they
And,
should be. They should be charged
sometimes.
if they use drugs or alcohol.
I mean, myself, I am a pro-choice person, but there's also a line, and I just feel like society has crossed it with the ridiculousness of things like this of, oh, well, oh, it was stillborn. I just wanted to bury it in my backyard, or I wanted to throw it in a dumpster, throw it in a trash can. Um, and I mean, there's even been cases where they have found bones of children and that people have kept in their closets for years.
Yeah, that's awful.
I, it just, and it makes me so sick that it's like for some reason because you know maybe they were stillborn, maybe they weren't, like they just had no right to life because somebody decided to say that they were already dead. And I just don't feel like anyone could have taken anything that came out of her mouth as the truth. I
Exactly. She
but
was
I think when you
lying from the beginning.
Right, and I think when you put the evidence together that, she never, ever, ever prepared for a live birth. She did search for how to get rid of a baby, but she didn't search for adoption. She didn't search for, the safe haven laws. She didn't search for any humane way to not have
Yes,
to
and I
be a
also
parent.
I also agree that the prosecution, that I think they dropped the ball and messed up so many times with all the evidence they had they didn't use. And that's what became the reasonable doubt because they didn't come in with, hey, her parents say she's a liar. She lied the whole time. She was bouncing around all over the place, saying things innocently, babies, and also saying things coached by, mommy, daddy. And then I believe the father was looking at it like, okay, so why the birth control? Why the birth control? Why the birth control? Like, they want to go after and sue the doctor. Like, oh, it's the doctor. It's everyone's fault except the daughter, which I think
Right.
is wrong.
And I don't think she should have gotten life in prison. I really don't.
Me neither.
I don't.
I don't
I
think that
honestly
either.
don't think she should have gotten murder, but I do think they proved manslaughter, and she should have done prison time at least.
Yeah, I believe that too.
At least 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, something to where
Something.
it shows, hey, this is not right to do. It's wrong and it's a crime. Something,
Something,
a few
and
years and
especially
mandatory therapy to help her because
right.
clearly her mom is psychotic. I don't know what's going on with the father,
Well,
and she plays this doe-eyed, innocent, victim.
and especially. I, I'm just so upset over this case. It seems like the more public the case, the lesser the conviction rate. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. Um, but, because if you actually go and search these types of cases, you'll see all kinds of people, of various ages, races, economic backgrounds, and most of them go to prison. But the
Yeah.
ones that the media kind of hones in on, those cases that are sending a message to people, it's like, there's all these people watching this case and they're like, oh, well, she didn't do anything wrong. So if I do it, I won't have done anything wrong either.
Yeah, that's also one of my fears in my head. But I'm
I
not
get,
here to be, to judge her. It's like, listen, everyone makes mistakes, but I do believe you have to pay for your mistakes. And, and I'm not saying throw her and let her rot, because that's not, I don't think that would help anything.
I'm judging her. I'm judging her. I'm judging her mom. I,
No, I do. Like,
it,
I understand. I have judgment as well, but I could see it from both sides. But I think that she just was so manipulative, and she knew it was so wrong what she did.
and I honestly, I don't even think I don't think she ever even considered that child to be a person. I still
Yeah,
don't think she
no.
actually considers it a person. It was
Or
never
yeah, or if she did, it was like, no, you're a burden, go away, and just let me
right.
go live my happy life, and skip
Right, because
around, and it never happened.
and I don't know, this whole case just I feel like they if I had to say anything I thought the prosecution did wrong, I think they zoned in a little too much on the charred remains of the bones.
Yes.
I, I think they should have just, you know, let that go, let it.
Yeah, focus on what she actually did.
Yeah, and what she did not do, that was what really
Yeah.
spoke to me was
Yeah,
what
like
she
how do you
didn't
not
do.
call your mom 911 or any of these things? Like she wasn't
I mean,
4, and 4-year-olds can call 911.
she
Mommy's on
could,
the floor, and it's a little baby 4-year-old.
well, I mean, I don't know if she actually had a car, but I know she had use of a vehicle. She drove herself to school. She drove herself to pick up her birth control prescription.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I
she,
didn't say car. I said call, like the
right,
phone,
I
like
know, but I'm just,
911, like not get in a car.
right, but I mean, she could have gotten into a car and drove herself to the hospital and,
Yeah, so yeah, no,
delivered
I
that
agree.
baby and said,
Yeah,
I
I
just want
agree.
to leave the baby here and I'm going home. And,
Yes, they
told
would
her
have been
mother,
okay with
like,
it.
she could just told her mom a lie because, I mean, the hospital couldn't tell her mom why she was there. She could have just said,
You
oh, my
know, they
stomach hurt.
Yeah, she's 18. They cannot tell the mom if she doesn't want the mom to know.
And she wouldn't even have had to have left she could have left that baby at the hospital and just said, I'm
Absolutely.
leaving, and
Yep.
just went back home and went to bed and not
Oh,
even had a mess to clean up.
yep. Absolutely. And these are the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and that's why it's so sensitive, and everybody has such harsh opinions, but we're supposed to have different opinions because we're all different people, and you see it from one way. None of us are in Skylar's shoes. And so it's so easy to kind of pass judgment. You just kind of have to use, your brain and just be like, okay, well, just take right and wrong. What's right? What's wrong? And I just really think she was 100% wrong in everything she chose.
I, I mean, I almost feel like she would have shown more emotion burying that
Yeah.
dog that they kept talking about in the
Yep.
trial.
Yeah. I
Then,
believe like even Carolyn said her only time we seen her cry was breaking down for herself.
right. The only other time I saw even a tear was when her brother testified.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like a breakdown. It was just a, tear or two.
Yes.
But, and maybe she did care that she hurt her brother. I don't know. Um, but I don't think she cares about anything or anyone any more than she does herself.
I agree with that.
And every action, every non-action just spoke volumes to it. And I don't know. I hate her face. I hate her mom's face. I am so sick over it. I hope they both gain 200 pounds and can never lose
Oh
it.
my goodness. No,
Oh,
I understand that.
that may
But
be worse in prison too, or I don't know.
yeah, I mean, especially with how worried they were about weight.
And yeah, now I will say I did feel sympathy for the father. I felt like he was genuine. I felt like he probably didn't know anything. I think he may have looked at her and suspected, like, well, she's, kind of looks a little pregnant. But I think he pretty much took Skylar's word and the mother's word that she wasn't. And, obviously he knew she was on birth control pills.
Yeah.
But he was the only one to me that looked like there had any genuine emotion
Yeah,
in that
I
courtroom.
or if I believe he didn't know as well, but I kind of, out of all of them, I would be on the side of I don't think he knew as much as the mom did, because I think the mom knew a whole lot more.
I I really think I don't think the mom helped her. Um, Honestly, because I think the mom would have known to just go drop it off at a fire station and have told Skylar to keep her mouth shut. Um, I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
know, but I don't know if the mom thought that way, because she was like worried about the neighbors. What is this one going to say? Oh, what have you done? They're going to think I'm terrible. Everything was about her.
right, but I
So,
think the mom would have drove, to the other side of Ohio to have dropped that baby off somewhere before she would have risked, you know,
yeah, maybe,
all of this
maybe I think
media.
she's I just think personally she's very selfish and manipulative. Also, I just don't think she would have done that.
But and the pharmacy did send the mom the message telling her that the birth control was ready. But then, if that had been my child, when they sent something back that said, birth control discontinued, patient pregnant, and I think I would have looked further into it
Yeah,
versus just taking my child's word for it, especially when, they kind of look a little pregnant anyways.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I know they said the aunt worked at the OB office, and I wonder if the aunt was the mom's sister or the dad's sister.
Oh, I didn't even realize there was an aunt that worked at the doctor's office.
Right, I would have been that would have been my first phone call.
Yeah, would have been
Because
mine
she
too.
was 18, but so the doctor probably couldn't have told her, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know, but it's like 18 is 18, and also 18 is not. Like my son just turned 18, and he's going to college, and this is wonderful, but he's not. Like, to me, I'm like, you're not an adult.
Mine turns 18 in October, and I have sat down and had so many discussions with him on what 18 actually means,
Mhm.
beyond, just getting to vote. There's so much more that goes with it that, you are an adult by law. You are responsible, you're solely responsible for your actions. And,
Yes, as anyone should be.
right. And I don't know.
Yeah, this is it's a very sensitive, hard case, because everybody has such different opinions and views on it, and everyone's allowed to.
And
Everyone's
I
allowed to have
honestly,
their own opinion.
I really believe, I wish there was just a straight across the board law that said, yeah, I mean, of course, people are allowed to have a home birth. They're allowed to have, various types of births, but there should be just a straight across the board law that if that baby is stillborn, that you have to notify somebody. And if you don't immediately, the consequences should be more than just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, hopefully this case proves or helps and teaches, and hopefully it won't repeat itself, and maybe there will be some laws fixed and some more just information put out there. At least I'm hoping so, because this was such a tragedy that could have not been.
Well, I mean, and wasn't that kind of the whole linchpin of the Casey Anthony case? The baby, when, the toddler, when they found her,
Yep.
they couldn't really tell if she had been smothered, if she'd been given, something to like overdosed on something that would put her to sleep. Um,
Yeah, but
you know,
they believed like she had fractures in her head, and and I was it duct. I was she duct taped. If I remember, like
Um,
on her mouth.
the prosecution said that she was, but I don't know. They didn't really. The prosecution in that case really didn't have a whole lot. Um, they spent a lot of their time talking about um, junk science and blowflies and trunks and
Yeah, and her mom was screaming, calling. And where? How come you didn't call the police for a month or over a month? What? Who doesn't? Oh, my kid's missing. I'll just not say anything to anybody. And the
well,
grandmother was
I
saying
think
the car smelled like death. I mean, what? Come on.
I mean I think with her jury, I think they just kind of in their minds they had to decide either, we believe that she murdered her daughter, or we believe that she drowned in the swimming pool. So therefore, if she drowned in the swimming pool, there was no need to call anyone because she already knew where her daughter was. Um,
Yeah, but
but
then does that make it right that okay? So if she drowned in a
oh
swimming
no,
pool,
she should have went
let's
to
go
jail
put her in a
too.
bag and throw her in the woods.
Oh no, she
That's
should
a
have went to
crime.
jail too. But I don't know, and I don't know if it's lack of political power that children have, but it just seems like whether it's cases of like the neonaticide, um, or murder, or even just your child abuse cases, they are so under prosecuted,
Yes,
and
I
it
agree with
just
that.
it makes me I don't understand why.
I
I
wish
just
I
don't
could answer
understand
that, but I
it.
cannot.
And I don't understand how people sit on these juries and they hear these things and they can still just, you know, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat. If you have a differing opinion and you want to discuss it, you're welcome to call in. Just send me an email, and you can come and discuss it. Not everyone is going to agree. You have almost 400 people here, so, but we should be able to discuss why you feel the way you do, and everybody should just be respectful. If somebody doesn't feel the way they do, then just agree to disagree and move on. But
Yes, and
no.
move on. That's correct. Carolyn
Right.
has such a great community and a channel that she's so caring and loving with, hey, you deserve the same respect and you deserve the same respect, even if you don't agree at all. It's
Mhm.
just let's all be adults and civil
Right.
and act like Carolyn, that who's created this wonderful community of lovely people. In my opinion, the people that I've seen all the time, everybody's amazing.
Right, right. And I mean, I mean, you have a family of like 6, 8 people, and not everybody agrees on the same thing. It's how
Oh,
life is,
yeah,
right?
yes,
And you have to
absolutely.
just,
I have 6 people in my house, and I have 4 children, and they're all different.
right,
It's
right.
just that's it.
Well, I just hope if absolutely nothing else comes of this case,
No, Kathy.
I, I just hope that more people will start talking to their kids, letting them kids know that they can come to them, that things like this don't have
Hmm.
to happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it'll
right.
open up
It's
a dialogue,
important.
and maybe one young girl that would find herself in this situation, may then realize not to do this. If it's,
Yeah, let's
I don't
hope
know.
something has come from this.
Right, then
Like I
one,
said,
yeah.
I am very honest with my children.
Hmm.
I'm brutally honest. My mother was brutally honest with me.
Right.
It's, we're like, it's funny, we're Italians and we're oversharers.
Yeah.
We speak about everything.
Could I throw some talking points out,
Sure.
panel?
Yeah.
One is that when she did go to the doctor, suicide or harming the baby should have never been put into her mind after saying she didn't want it. And that's the first point. Skylar did not have the natural maturity of an 18-year-old. A few decades ago, a 14-year-old was mature enough to run a household. Third point, they are not affluent. They're a working class household where both parents work. They are not affluent or rich by any means. Next one. I don't believe she completed the entire scenario alone. I find it to be totally unbelievable that she did all that alone after giving birth. Next point. The birth control pills were phoned into the pharmacy after she left the office. Next point. Doctor was a terrible witness as he acted totally clueless about anything that went on in the exam room. Next point. I can't believe no one did not see her baby belly. No way for a full-term baby. Next, I'll discuss my instantaneous abortion when everybody's off. Next point is all abortionists are murderers for performing an abortion of a fetus 1 day prior to delivery. That is ludicrous. It should not be a law in the United States. Killing a baby 1 day before it's due to be delivered. So that's murder. That's some of the points I threw out if anybody wants to discuss it.
Yeah, that's a sensitive subject just in itself, and I think everybody has their own opinion on that. I don't agree with absolutely. I agree with you. That a baby at full term, you shouldn't be doing anything at that point. But I think every woman has a right to choose what they're going to do with their body. That's just what I believe. Nobody has to agree with me. That's just how I feel.
I agree with you.
But not that late in the pregnancy, not 1 day before delivery. Maybe second.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The full term. That's murder. That's outrageous.
It is.
And now
And
I
the
will.
abortionists are murderers. They dispose of that baby in medical waste and they burn that if they don't put it in a jar with formaldehyde.
Mm.
So they're no better than Skylar was.
Yeah, it's a terrible, heartbreaking case because, you know, a lot of us are moms, and if we're not, we just have hearts. And how could this happen?
Well, I will agree with you on the point you made about the doctor. His testimony was ridiculous. But I think the doctor's office, the doctor himself, I honestly think they're worried about a lawsuit. I think it's part of why I didn't want to be on camera. Because,
I honestly believe that a doctor should lose the license. I can't see a doctor saying, okay, you're so pregnant and here's some birth control pills. Like, that's just crazy to me.
I would say they probably called in the pills ahead of time. They probably didn't expect her to be pregnant. And I think when they found out that she was, probably the end of the day or something, they called to cancel them, but she'd already picked them up. As far as her maturity level,
I don't know.
As far as her maturity level, though, and I mean, I guess people of all ages, I mean, I've seen 50-year-olds that have the maturity level of a 15-year-old.
Oh, absolutely.
I absolutely don't think that gives her a pass because she was obviously smart enough to get good grades. She was smart enough to be accepted to college. She was driving a car, having sex, functioning in every other aspect of her life, just as her peers were.
Yes, and then a big wrench was thrown right into it. And
but I think the immaturity is just an act.
Decisions after that.
I think it was an act. I think that's how she's gotten out of trouble with her parents.
Oh, absolutely.
Please don't be mad at me. Just support me.
Do you still love me?
I'm sorry.
You still love me, right?
And how many people have known someone like that in their life? Like, they're always so sorry when they get caught. They're so sorry. But
that's a big
that's
thing.
when they're
she was
sorry.
Only sorry she got caught.
Exactly. Yeah, so
well, there's another passage that there are too many forms of birth control now for an 18-year-old to have unprotected sex and become pregnant. These pregnancy should be avoided
Well,
because there's
these
so many
kids,
medications and prevention at hand.
well, with what they teach in school, um, and then of course, you know, with the access of the internet, I mean, kids know more about sex now. I mean, they didn't even show commercials about birth control and things like that when I was a
Well,
kid.
that's what I'm curious about, because that's what I've said. Like, why did they never touched on? They touched on that another boy abused her, right, when they were in the 8th grade. I thought they were going to say this Tyler, that he almost raped her, and that's why they didn't have protection. You
I was
see,
expecting
that's
them to go
where
that route too.
I was thinking, because then why didn't anybody say, wait, use protection one time? Why did you use it only one time? She just met this boy, right? Um, but nobody got into any of that
No, they
at
Yeah,
never
all.
I think
mentioned it.
They had sex 2 times.
2 times, once with
Oh, yeah.
protection. But was it the
Yeah.
first time with protection? The second time with protection? Why didn't they
I
use
think the
protection?
first time was without. Second was protection, but that was too late. I think all teenagers should have access and have a day after pill for mistakes like that. If you want to call it a mistake, I don't call it a mistake. It's too many ways.
Well, I think they do have access to, the after pill. That they're in every drugstore. But yeah, I'm
In
in New
Virginia,
Jersey.
you have to
don't-
be 18 time.
I don't. Now, I live in Virginia also, um, you know, and I know that they have them in our state, but a pharmacist, if it's against their religious beliefs, they're not required to sell them. So, I mean, you may have to hunt down um, a different pharmacy. You might not get to go to your local drugstore. You may need like a big box pharmacy, or wait for a certain pharmacist to
Yeah,
be
but
on duty.
honestly, I think if it's in a pharmacy, and a pharmacist thinks that pharmacist has no right to throw their religion into somebody else's choice. Like
Legally,
Correct.
that pharmacy should be governed and shut down, or people replaced that work there, because that shouldn't be a thing. Well, I don't agree with what you're doing with your body, so I won't give you this medicine. That shouldn't be allowed.
it is.
Correct.
Legally, it is. So people are allowed their religious beliefs and their religious rights.
In
In
a
Virginia,
store?
Yes,
you
in
have to
a
present
drugstore.
an ID proof of 18 to buy it the day after pill. Is that your take, the other person from Virginia?
Oh,
That
I'm
in
sorry.
Virginia you have to show an ID in order to purchase, and the morning after pill you have to be at least 18 to buy it.
I don't know if you have to be 18.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It
not
was.
certain about that.
Okay.
And now I
Mm.
live kind of on the closer to Tennessee side.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't want to get my information between states mixed up, but I know that, you know,
Well,
Tennessee, Virginia, they both have them available. And I can't, I know there's one or the other that you do not have to be 18, but I'm not
in
certain
my
which
opinion,
one
they
it is.
should give every young girl a morning after pill just the first time she has sex. And after that she'll know she needs birth control.
I,
To make it that easily accessible to prevent the fetus of developing or even growing.
that's
Yeah.
definitely the most humane
Mm-hmm.
alternative, in my
It is.
opinion. Because if it never becomes a fetus, then, you know, and I
Yeah,
realize
that's
too
a
that,
slippery slope that aggravates a lot of people.
and I
So
realize
it has
too,
to come down to what you believe. If that's what you believe, great. If it's not, then respect people that don't believe that.
now
I believe women that should have their own choice.
I do take a little bit of an issue though with a minor being able to go have an abortion and the parents not know about it. Because, you know, what if your daughter went and had an abortion at 14, 15, 16, and they get some kind
And
of
it wasn't done
surgical
correctly, and then she
or
died
they
from it. That would be
or
awful.
exactly, like they get a surgical infection and, they've got a fever and chills, and you're like, oh, well, they must have the flu. You're not
Yeah.
thinking, oh, well, they've just had a medical procedure.
Mhm.
They may be really sick.
Yes,
So
I do
I
believe
do disagree
minors
with that.
should
Or,
have
and
doctors told. I mean,
e-
doctors have tell the
even if they
mother and
don't
the
have to,
father.
even if they don't have to tell their parents, if they're a minor, they should at least get like a patient advocate that, if you start to feel sick, if something's not right, call us. I mean, just something at the very least, someone they could reach
Yeah.
out to.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
anybody that
true.
has an abortion in second or third trimester, they really need a D&C afterwards to avoid infections and diseases. And they're not telling their parents, so they're not getting the medical treatment they need after that.
Right.
Skylar, she didn't have anything done after she had the baby, and
And
that is a necessity.
well, and she said it was a big baby. And I know I wasn't much older than her when I had my first child. And I mean, I had to have an episiotomy or,
Me too.
skin would have torn. So, and I was young, I was petite. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I was a little bit bigger than her, but not much. And,
Mhm.
and she
Yeah.
herself
I
said it was a
yeah,
big baby.
with all four.
So I can't
I weighed
imagine that.
100. I
I
weighed
just,
108 pounds when I got pregnant. After I gave birth to an 8.5 pound, 21.5 inch long baby girl, and they showed her to me the first time, I thought she was 4 foot tall and 40 pounds. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe I had that big a baby, and I weighed 108 pounds the day I left the hospital. So
Wow.
I was
Yeah, my
so
first
eight.
my first was 9'3", and he looked like a toddler.
Yeah.
but I tell you what, I've seen so many people on various social media platforms during this case, because of their personal beliefs in abortion, seem to have sided with Skylar. And, people think that siding with things like this is protecting their rights to their bodies. But I honestly, people are going to get so sick of this. They are going to get sick of babies found in trash cans and shallow graves.
Yeah, this was
And
going
it
on
is
a few
going to
years
end up
ago. That was
hurting
going on.
people's
We're
right to
finding
their
babies
body.
everywhere.
But it's going to end up hurting people's right to their bodily autonomy. It really is. And, and as far like, I have known a few people who have had a late term abortion, but I have never, it's always been because the baby wasn't functioning properly.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't healthy enough, or it would
Because
have had
usually,
problems.
well, usually by the third trimester, if someone has carried a child that long and allowed themselves to, have those pregnancy symptoms, gain that pregnancy weight,
Yeah, I think you
everyone
bond.
around,
Like I
and
know I bonded with each.
well, and you felt them kick and you felt them move. I just don't think
I
third
speak
trimester,
to my belly.
these are people that, they bought cribs and picked out names.
Mhm.
And, just from the people I've known, and I knew a lady, she had to have one and it broke her heart. But her baby's heart was causing a failure to thrive.
Oh.
And, and she didn't want her child to suffer. And, that was very much her right, just like it would be someone's right to go ahead and have the baby and see what happens.
Absolutely.
But, and
Can I-
I have been, incredibly blessed that both of my children have been healthy.
Oh yeah.
But, what happens to a child that's born and they're, something is wrong? And if you're not a wealthy person, how are you, if there's someone like, for example, if they're going to need a wheelchair the rest of their life, that requires a special vehicle, possibly the hallways in your house widened, um, just stuff everyday people may not be able to afford. And,
Absolutely.
I always try to really understand where other people are coming from with the decisions that they make. Even, these cases I listen to, I try to be open-minded about them. Um,
Yes, well, I think, I know it's Carolyn's show, I think personally, we said everything that, we said, maybe let somebody else call in, or just let Carolyn wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I think someone just called. Hi, who's on the line?
I'm Victoria. I'm waiting.
No, oh, because somebody else just called in. Maybe they're still on
Oh,
mute. Do we have a new
sorry.
caller? Is it Earthbound or is it Kathy?
It's Earthbound.
Oh, hi, Earthbound.
Sorry, just trying to figure out how to turn. I just had to re-download Zoom.
Oh, that's okay. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm gonna wait while people talk here.
No, they said, you're welcome to talk now. I think.
Yeah, we spoke enough. We rambled.
I, you know, as much as I have disagreed with a lot of the absolute guilt, I also agree on a lot of points. I was a little girl not little girl, I mean, I was little in stature, about 104 pounds when I got pregnant, gained a total of 19 pounds. My daughter was 6 pounds even at birth, and she wasn't making enough fluid for herself. That's why I didn't gain very much weight. She came out perfectly healthy though. Then,
That's wonderful.
am I interrupting?
No, I said that was wonderful. Go ahead.
And then there are people that I know who have had the eating disorder and been a cheerleader with all the pressure from the parents, who also unfortunately had, well, the big difference was she was pregnant with twins, but one twin was born alive and the other dead, stillborn. Does it mean, we don't know what that means. Yeah, the doctors at the time said the one twin who was born healthy was drawing the new everything from the stillborn twin. So, but I'm just trying to point out that it is possible for Skylar to have had with with her diagnosed eating disorder, that it's possible she truly did have a stillborn child. And that's just part of, those are just small points as to why I didn't jump on that into that same group, think that, a lot of people did. And even I was open minded with the trial, thinking if they can prove something, I'm open minded to having it proven. Go ahead.
Is someone else on the line? Did someone else just call in Kathy? Kathy, are you on the line? Huh. Okay, maybe they're on mute too, like you. So, yeah, I mean, yes, it's possible she had a stillborn baby, and see that's not the thing. The point is, for me, I think the biggest point that first, I can't fathom myself. Even knowing as much as I did going into childbirth, doing that alone, I don't even see where anyone could do that, just because, especially you say someone didn't have any knowledge. I really think you would call out because you would think you were dying.
Oh, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest problems. So
Yes, me too.
to understand this whole thing, and I can't understand that part of it. Giving birth 5 times myself, and I still, even at my 5th time, I would be freaking out, like, is everything okay, is everything okay? Because every birth is different, and there's always, like, my births they were more complicated. It was just, I don't know. And I gave birth, naturally and everything without drugs, but there were little things that happened. Like the 3rd one, the shoulders got stuck. I mean, he was a much bigger baby than was expected, and he had to be rotated. And then when Ethan came out, he was out sunny side up, and then he flipped at the last minute. But it's the whole thing that not having a doctor there, nurses, somebody to guide you through this and tell you that everything is all right and monitor you, that part I just can't get through.
Yeah, my brother under me, my mother's 2nd child, he was so broad that they had to break his collarbone just to get him out.
Right, because that's what they almost had to do with my son. That's what happens with the shoulder dystocia.
And look how many emergency C-sections have to happen every day.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing, right? How many go to C-section, right? They say they're overdone, but what if she had to go to a C-section? What if
she was apparently willing to, put herself in harm to protect that secret.
When I gave birth to my daughter, I ripped from front to back, and she wasn't a big child. I mean, only 6 pounds, but I ripped. And I was at a hospital. I had a nurse midwife. I was followed through all of my pregnancy as a high-risk pregnancy the whole time. And then I ripped in the hospital. I was happy to have the support. I had the support of family, and nobody made me feel unsupported or unworthy because I was a young mother or mother to be. And my grandmother, nurse practitioner, old World War II Army nurse, who I can't imagine when she says, her not seeing everything. After being a nurse in World War II, going into family practice, and with a doctor in family practice who also did the OBGYN. I mean, she had to have seen almost everything, but she was willing to pay for an abortion if that's what I had chosen. She was going to support me if I chose to keep it, and she would have supported me if I had chosen to adopt her out. Sometimes I wish I'd taken one of the other options as opposed to keeping her. But most of the time, I can't imagine life without my daughter.
Yes, I hear that. I understand that.
Disabilities that get me beat up on a fairly regular basis. It's a volatile situation, which are those are the times when I wish I'd chosen another option. And then of course I feel guilty about thinking like that.
Right, yeah. I mean, the other thing, and I said it on the other live, and I don't know because I was going in and out of range if anybody heard me, that the boy Tyler, who's the father of this baby, right? His parents, and that's their grandchild, they can file a wrongful death suit, correct?
They should be able to.
I believe they should do that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see I don't see the short time he was in court, and I'm sure if he wanted to do that, the prosecution would have said something like, well, were you upset you didn't know, you weren't informed it was your baby, or anything, right?
Yeah, they looked very uninvolved. Like
Right,
what
and
I
I
was
didn't
like,
see
I don't get
parents.
that.
I've never heard anything about parents saying anything about, our son wasn't told this was his
Yeah,
child, and
maybe they just wanted to be out of it as well.
right.
I wonder if they've even thought about a lawsuit, though. I wonder, if they didn't maybe assume that she would go to jail, go to prison. But now that she's not, I definitely think they should file it. I hope they file it, if for nothing else, to prevent her family from profiting off of it in any way. And that if they try, the money would go to the father of the baby's family.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy in the chat is trying to get in.
Yeah,
What
she
she's
can't get
saying
in. I
is
don't
she
understand.
wants to
Yeah.
join. She wants to join, and then she doesn't get connected. I don't know how she's trying to go through Zoom.
Are you
Try
going
to
through the
go through
website, or are you calling on the number, Kathy?
Yeah, you should call in the number and then put in the ID, and then you'll be able to hear. Because I never did it, and I felt like, a kindergarten hooked on phonics, and then I was like, what am I doing? And then I kind of hung up and did it again, and it worked.
Well, I'm going to say one last thing, and then I'll disconnect. Maybe that'll help her be able to get in. But
No, it's not that, though. Yeah, go ahead.
but I know I had one child when I was in my early 20s, one when I was in my early 30s. And honestly, in my early 20s, I didn't worry so much about things going wrong. I guess I just assumed, kind of in that stage of life where you just assume things work out.
Mm-hmm.
But in my
Yeah,
30s,
and maybe you didn't have an Italian mom.
She said maybe you didn't have an Italian mom.
Yeah, because I was 25 and it was my first, and I thought I could die. Everything was gonna go wrong. The blood pressure cuff made my whole arm go numb. So my delirious self started to panic. And
when I went into labor, now
breathing
that's
was
another
up.
story. When I went into labor, in my early 20s, my son's heart rate was a little below the normal level. So they had me go in for non-stress test. And they decided, since I was so close to my due date, they were going to induce. So they put me full of Pitocin, and I felt contractions for probably about 30 minutes before they came in, broke my water, gave me my epidural, and after that I didn't feel a thing. You could have literally cut my legs off. But just in that 20 to 30 minutes where I felt those contractions, I thought I was dying. And I could not imagine how much utter willpower it took that girl or that woman to sit in her bedroom or her bathroom or wherever she had the baby to just not make, to keep herself so quiet, so still, to not ask for help when it was just right down the hall. Help.
And I just think she just didn't want it to exist, and she just, went through with, let me be as quiet and secretive as possible, and she permitted herself to do that.
I'm honestly surprised she didn't, say something to her brother or the new boyfriend. What was his name?
Brandon, yeah, Sailor. Brandon Sailor.
If anyone helped her, I would think it was him. But
Yeah, I don't think she wanted anybody to know.
I really don't think she buried that baby that night either.
I don't know. I think she did it the next day or something.
That's what I think as well. But thank you for letting me.
Oh, you're welcome.
And vent and, be opinionated and judgy and all that other stuff. But I hope somewhere down the line something good for someone comes out of this. And I hope health classes, sex ed classes, guidance counselors at school, doctors' offices, we'll start doing more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
But thank you, ladies.
I want to thank Carolyn too for letting us, speak our minds and be so open and kind as you always are. And I appreciate.
Oh yeah, it
everything
was
you
good to
do. I
it was
love
good to
listening
finally
to
hear your
you.
voice because you're always in chat and I've never heard your voice or had you call in, so that was good.
And
Yeah,
and
so
thank
thank
you all
you.
for
I
being
appreciate you letting
respectful.
me call in.
No, anytime, anytime.
We have had a very good conversation
Yeah,
here.
everybody.
I think it went well here.
I agree.
Very civil here on the phone.
Yeah.
Civil, respectful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, thank you. And by the way, I absolutely love your top. I love it.
Oh, this is the famous hoodie. Yeah.
Well, I do too. It's hysterical. That's my favorite one that she wears.
Who would have known when I ordered it? It would be such a.
You have to get it on your merch.
I know. I wish I could.
I know this may not mean anything to anybody else but me, but I do want to say one happy thing. I went to the grocery store earlier, and I found, I don't know if you all remember them from like the 90s, the Clearly Canadian waters. I found a whole case of them and bought them. So I'm sitting here drinking them, and I'm watching the reboot of Beverly Hills 90210. So it's like,
oh goodness,
it's like 1996 to me right
Tanya?
now.
It's 1996 to you. It's awesome.
Tanya,
yes.
Where did you find that?
Well, it was a little price. It's called Priceless. So I mean, it's not the grocery store you even go to for like your steak and your hamburger. It's kind of the one you stop by and run in for a loaf of bread and get in the middle. But they had them, and I was like, oh my gosh! And they had the peach.
What are they? Clearly Canadian waters?
Yes, and they are the best thing in the whole world.
They are sparkling water with flavors, and the mountain blackberry was the best.
I got some of those too.
I'm still Googling it.
But yeah, you can look on their website and they'll tell you stores that they sell them at, but that store is not on their list. So it was just I live in kind of a small rural area.
Uh-huh.
And like we just recently got things like DoorDash and Uber.
Oh, we don't have that yet. We don't have either of those.
For us to have anything that, mostly big city stores get. But yeah.
Did anybody watch the Brady Bunch thing? Did anybody watch that?
When?
They had the Brady Bunch thing, I think, where they redid the house or something with all the cast members.
I will have to look that up.
Did anybody watch that?
I don't think I did.
A very Brady renovation.
Yeah. Very, yeah.
No, I have to definitely go look at it.
It's even on YouTube, I think, Lisa, because I see little things on YouTube like about it. I don't know. It's on. Was it TBS or what was it? No, Home H. What was it?
HGTV.
Yeah, is that the where it was? Nobody saw it in this whole chat here.
I love the chocolate sign. I love the signs that you can make any words, and I can't wait, Carolyn.
Yeah, I have to. I am. I'm
because I want to do that.
Yes, I'm gonna print it out and do it. I said that today. I bought the chalk and stuff that I need to do it. I'm gonna do it. It's been nuts. But now that the trial is over, that was nutty, and then I had the 2 back to school nights. But I will try to do that tomorrow.
Will we get to see the sentencing tomorrow? Or they?
Yeah, 11 a.m. 11 a.m.
11. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any possibility that she could do any jail time, or are they?
There
just
is a
gonna give her
possibility,
probation?
but it says that
there's always a possibility.
That it's favored upon not to give any prison time. It's 6 to 12 months. But it's a class 5 felony, so she's going to have that too. You have to understand, now she has a felony. She can never be bonded. She she has some limitations now. It's not, there are some things that go along with the felony.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought someone said earlier that it was a misdemeanor.
No, the abuse of a corpse is a misdemeanor, but the gross abuse of a corpse is a class 5 felony.
Okay, I must have misunderstood because I thought they said she got convicted of the first one, not the gross.
I always joke around with my kids, like anytime like they say, oh, my daughter, she she was like joking, she's like, oh, I got out of line at the hockey game, and someone's like, yeah, we had to have her arrested, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope it wasn't a felony, you can never be bonded, I always tell them that, but I'm half joking with them, but yeah, but no, I mean that does hinder you, and that's going to follow her. I mean, she won't even be able to volunteer in her children if she does have children one day in their school. She'll have to put that down. That'll follow her the rest of her life. Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Many things in her life.
Yeah, so it's not, Victoria. It's gross abuse of a corpse, and it's a class 5 felony.
Ritgers Jr. said he believes that it's up to 5 years now.
Well, I looked it up in Ohio, and it said between 6 and 12 months, and it said up to $2,500 fine.
I looked it up too, and I saw the same thing, but the attorneys themselves said that. I don't know if they're right, but that's what they said today.
Now, who will decide? Is it just the judge that will decide the sentence?
Yes.
I believe it's the judge.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think she'll do any jail time.
I think she'll have to do something, but I also agree that whatever she does get, definitely mandatory counseling, treatment, some sort of treatment.
I believe that strongly.
I absolutely agree.
With that said, I am
And will she be able to vote anymore?
Not if she's a felon.
If she's a felon, no.
Unless they change the law, which some states are trying to change that to where they'll allow them to vote after they've served their time or...
Oh, not that in a vote. It's jury duty. They can vote. It's jury duty, right? They can never serve on a jury. Isn't that it? Because they always ask you, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yeah, it's jury duty. They can vote after, I think they have to maybe wait. I don't know. There might be a waiting period, but it's the jury duty.
No, I don't think they can even vote yet.
I don't know. I mean, I was a court reporter years ago, and just the things that I remember, I know that that's probably probation, something like that, and maybe they can't serve on the jury, but
High
I'm
69.
not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty
couldn't
sure
imagine
they
they could
can't
ever
serve
go
on a
on
jury.
I couldn't imagine someone with a felony being let onto a jury.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
That
they
seems
can't.
very problematic.
Which maybe, she might think is like High 69 said is a good thing,
Right.
Right? My daughter looks forward to jury. She loves to get called for jury duty. She loves it. But most people dread it.
Yes,
I
I
wonder-
run from. I'm like,
I would
no.
hate it. I would hate it because, you can't look up anything. You
Right.
can't do any of your own
I would be
research.
bad. I would be bad because
I'd
I would
get
probably
kicked
not be
off.
able to help myself, and so that I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I would have to be
That's
honest.
not
up
me.
front.
That's not me either.
I would have to be honest up front and be like, no, you're not going to keep me off the internet.
There's
You
no
just
way
can't
I
let
would
me on
be
this jury."
researching it. Sorry.
I'll be looking up laws and no.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I mean, so isn't it possible that's why they cut Trey off? So isn't it possible? Why are you saying that, Potter? Why do you think she cut Trey off? In the email, I gave you a number, Historic. If you wanted to call in, I gave you a number. That's your point in the email. That's because of the language and that one word families and communities. She would be a felon, cannot vote, cannot own a gun. Well, that's right. She won't be able to get, definitely won't be able to get a pistol permit. Cannot, at least in New York, I don't. Cannot vote, cannot work in education, and so on and so forth. You have had a lot of wild speculations, Potter? I think she was meaning that Trey might have forced him. Oh, that's what you mean? Oh, and that's why she cut. But the why would all the more reason they would have brought that up, right? Because they brought up the other boy that did it in the 7th or 8th grade. Mm-hmm. Do you think they didn't bring it up because Trey was there and it didn't happen? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's kind of weird. If they brought up some boy that did it in 8th grade, wouldn't they bring up Trey if he forced himself upon her?
Especially with this, yeah.
Right.
I believe so.
Wouldn't that be a reason to say that's why she blocked it out of her head? It was a traumatic event. And yeah, I think they would have used that like crazy, Potter. Unless she was being honorable. But why would they have brought up the 8th grade thing?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
I think that was just all a page right out of Jose Baez's playbook.
It's
just anything to garner sympathy for her. Any little seed they could plant in the jury's mind to, get sympathy for her.
Yeah, it's a sad case. I've had a wonderful call in, ladies. Carolyn, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Danielle.
They're always amazing. And thank you, everybody, for being respectful and, just how it always should be.
Oh, yeah, the Doulos case, right, Kathy? You're hoping to get called for that?
Well, it was very nice talking to you, ladies, and I will see you in chat.
Okay, take care.
Okay, take care. Have a rest of it, good day. I'll be in the chat.
Uh-huh. Diane, they said it could be expunged? Okay.
I was actually getting ready to ask about that. Because isn't there something you can have things expunged if you just had one charge or?
I get maybe it matters on the class of felony and
which I think there's a waiting period for that as well, but I think it'll definitely cause her problems the rest of her life.
Yeah, are you the girl? Yeah, I mean.
Oh, you're that girl that buried her baby in the backyard.
Are you the one? Yeah. Now I guess, I don't know what she's, maybe she'll go far away for college. Who knows? Maybe she'll study abroad. I don't know.
I'd be surprised if the college would have her.
I mean, I don't think they can they just, I mean, I'm sure one will take her if they, if the money's right.
Now, if they put her on probation for and hopefully it'll be an extended period of time, but she won't be able to leave like a certain area as long as she's on probation. But now she may be able to go to college and do her classes online.
She can't go abroad with a felony? Okay.
I don't know. Things are so different from state to state with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think she would have any problem with like a community college, though.
Someone said she's been going to community college. Someone said she was working at the lawyer's office and she's going to community college.
Well, she could wind up like, who was it, Casey Anthony? Didn't she wind up working for somebody in her defense team and actually living with them too, I believe?
Oh, yeah. The lawyer's office. Maybe she'll become a lawyer, high 69.
Right. That's crazy.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, I don't know. So I guess historic publishing, you're not going to call in and then because it's late. If you were going to call in, I would have taken your call. And then Kathy, you said no, so maybe historic, it sounded like it would have been a good call. Maybe next time. It's 5 a.m. Yeah. The bone broth, it has to cook for 24 hours. Janelle's very worried about my bone broth. It has to cook for 24 hours.
Well, I will get off of
All
here.
right. Yeah, I'm going to probably be
you.
going to. You just tuned in, MR? What would your verdict? It had to, you know, what it had to be, what it had to be, and what it was. You know, I mean, yeah, I pretty much expected it. I did. The only thing that threw me was I thought that she would get the endangering a child. But then when it was explained, you know, I knew that she couldn't, because that it was going to just be the gross abuse of a corpse. But, yeah, I don't know. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll call it a night. It's almost 5 o'clock. And everybody have a good one. Thank you to our moderators for holding it down. Thank you guys for being civil and understanding people's different points of view. And thanks to all of our callers. And thanks to everybody for coming. All right, guys. Take care. And have a good one. Let me see here.